So let's run through maybe a series of examples. If one was wanting to implement a habit of, let's say, running regularly, since this is a running podcast, um, can you maybe say what each tendency would need to do in that case to develop the habit of running?
Okay. So for an upholder, that's not that hard. They have a high aptitude for forming habits, so they can pretty much just be like, I really want to start running, so I'm going to start. But the things that would make that easier for them is like having a schedule. Upholders tend to love a schedule. They like a to-do list. They
Yeah.
get a lot of feelings of gratification from checking things off, and so they would like that. They also might like monitoring. It might be satisfying for them to know, like, I ran 1.5 miles today. I ran 8 miles today, or whatever it is, and having that sense of sort of like
Yeah.
um, knowing what they're doing in a sense of accomplishment. Now, I will say this about upholders. They can experience something that I call tightening, which is the rules begin to tighten. So a person might say to herself or himself, I'm going to run 4 days a week. And then they're running 5 days a week. And then they feel like really they should be running just about every day, even though it's kind of causing tension and uneasiness. And maybe they don't even really feel like they want to be doing that, except they feel like it's tightening. So
Hmm.
as an upholder, you want to be very aware, like, I don't want to let this thing control me. If I feel myself tightening, I want to be very aware of this, because this is something that is most other tendencies don't become overly conscientious. This is a real thing for upholders. Next, questioners. So questioners are very focused on efficiency, reasons, justification. So if you were talking to a questioner, you'd be like, why don't you read tons of research, interviews, scientific journals, anything about the value of this. Why am I doing this? Why is this an efficient thing to do? Why am I bothering to do this at all? Why am I doing this instead of that? Who am I listening to? Are you an authority? Do I trust your judgment? I'm going to ask around, and then I'm going to figure out, okay, what's the best system for me? They love to customize usually. So maybe they're like, oh, I'm going to train for the marathon. Well, they say this is what you're supposed to do, but I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to like tweak, 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 because it's going to be right for me. They like to individualize.
Uh-huh.
Um, and they like to know that what they're doing makes sense. So as much as you can say, like, this is why you're doing this, and this is why you're doing it this way at this time in this, that is going to, the more they believe that their actions are founded with justification, the easier they will feel that it is to execute.
Yeah.
Next, obligers, 100% one answer: accountability.
Yeah.
They're not going to get up in the morning while their whole family's asleep and go out for a run. So what do? Well, you could start an accountability group. I have a starter kit on my site, GretchenRubin.com, where people can get a starter kit if you want a bunch of people. And you don't all, you could be trying to start running. Somebody else could be trying to start playing the guitar. Another person could be trying to go to sleep earlier. You don't have to have the same aim, but it's this idea that people are holding each other accountable. Or you could run with a friend, somebody who's going to be disappointed with you if you don't show up. And you don't want to run with a friend who's going to easily let you off the hook. You want somebody who's going to be kind of annoyed. Or maybe you're going to run with a dog who's going to be really disappointed and maybe a little bit misbehaving if you don't take them for the run. Or maybe you're going to go for a run at work, and they're going to check you off like, oh, yeah, this is good. I see on your health form that you've gone to the gym this many times. Or maybe you want to start a Facebook group, or you want to hire a health coach, or you want to have a doctor. You've got type 2 diabetes, and your doctor wants to know how much you're running, and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to check in with you every 4 weeks, so that so you have that feeling that someone is holding you accountable. Or you could even think about your role model to someone else. I have these children. I want to model good behavior for them. I want them to see what it's like to live a healthy life. I also want to show them that I can keep my commitments to myself. And so I have to go for a run every morning. I told them I was going to, and this is why. And if they see me not follow through with that, then what kind of model am I being? Or for my neighbors, I know somebody who said she felt like she had to stick with training for the marathon because all her neighbors were so interested, and they were like, ooh, maybe I'll get into running. So she's like, I can't back out now, because like I'll have this bad effect on their habits. And then finally, rebels, and you can speak to this too, is rebels, it's all about what they want. And so they tend to not do well with the schedule. Like, I'm going to get up Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's like, I'm going to do it when I want. And I feel like doing it right now because I love the idea of going outside and being in the fresh air. And I'm going to listen to some new music. And this is what I feel. I love feeling energetic. I mean, I love feeling youthful. I love feeling at the top of my game. And if I don't run, I'm not going to feel that way. And then they're also very tied to the idea of their identity. This is who I am. If I want to show the world who I am, this is how I behave. I'm a runner. What does a runner do? A runner consistently runs. A runner knows the trails. A runner, registers for events. This is who I am. And I want to be authentic to myself. Now, you can also sometimes tap into the rebelliousness with a little bit of reverse psychology. Um, a guy your age could never start running regularly. It'd be too hard. Or I don't think you could stick to a system of consistent exercise. Like, when have you ever done that in the past? Or, because sometimes they'll be like, I'll show you. That can be, or something like, you know what? The junk food industry, the tobacco industry, they've got you right where they want you, man. You're addicted. You're on that couch. You're never getting up. You can't quit cigarettes. You can't quit junk food. They've got you on a chain. You're just pouring money into their pockets. What are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Because to a rebel, the idea of being chained, being controlled, being trapped, very negative values. So they want that sense of freedom and choice. I'm choosing to do it today. Oh, and here's another thing about rebels. They want to do it when they want to do it. So it's like never say to a rebel, like, a rebel is like, it's 4:00. I think I'm going to go for a run. Never say to a rebel like, oh, don't you think it'd be more efficient if you went at 6:00? You're like, no, go. That sounds awesome. Like, go when you feel like going, because later you might not feel like going.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you. So does that ring true for you? I've worked to understand the rebel mentality, because it's very different from the upholder perspective. Yeah. Does that sound right?
You pretty much nailed it.
Yeah, you nailed us. Yeah. I think